This is the fourth session for the day, and you all have been a very participative audience. Thank you so much for that. Our next topic is optimizing fermentation and yeast performance. I'll take the opportunity to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Sibabrata Mukherjee. He is a doctorate in microbial fermentation and enzyme technology, having 10 years of experience in fermentation, enzyme applications, NPD, process development, and project management. He has been a public speaker, a guest lecturer, and an author of technical write-ups. At Leaf by Lesaffre, France, he is ensuring performance improvement and profitability maximization for the Indian ethanol industry partners. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir. Can we please give him a huge round of applause? Please join us on stage. Along with him, we would also like to welcome on stage Mr. Christophe Taste, Dr. Furkan Ali, and Miss Chitrika Biswas. Can I please request you all to please grace the stage for the next session? Once again, a gentle reminder for all our speakers to keep the time duration in mind. For your reference, we have a timer on the screen. And to my audience, a humble request, can we please keep our mobiles on silent mode? Thank you so much. Over to the panel.
Firstly, I encourage all the audience to put the hands together for JIMA for organizing such an unique technical summit in the space of Indian ethanol industry. Please give them a big applause for this effort, and it is commendable, and this is, I think, for the first time this kind of summit we have seen in India for ethanol industry. So thank you very much. Straight into the point, I will keep my presentation little bit in Hindi if you are all okay, as well as in English. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm from the eastern part of India, so Hindi is little bit Bengalish. So I will try to make it, as you people can understand better. And let's just quickly recap about our process, what we are doing, at least me, for the bread and butter for every day. We are producing alcohol with the help of yeast. Can we have a pointer if you have? Hello. Yeah? No problem. So what we are doing, we are getting raw material, and after that, am I audible with this? Yes. Till the end? Yes. Perfect. So we are producing ethanol with the help of yeast, and you can see with the click, you can see we are having this microscopic organism which is producing the ethanol, utilizing the sugar after hydrolyzing the grain starch. Today we will talk only about grain, G for JIMA, G for grain. And after hydrolyzing, we are fermenting it to carbon dioxide and ethanol. And there is a common question. What is the dosage of yeast? How many do you have this question? Almost everyone. Why are you putting so much yeast is my fermenter, right? So we have also listed this type of question. Why do you need so much yeast? Can we reduce the yeast dosage? Frankly speaking, I do not have that answer. There is no correct answer to tell you that you need this much yeast until and unless I check your environment. Because it is depending on click, 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 click. It is depending on so many things like grain quality, grain granule size, liquefaction quality, how is your distillation recycle stream quality, your fermentation conditions, after decantation, what is the quality of your thin slope, and lot of other things. If we can give a good condition for the yeast, then yeast will produce with its best potential to give you maximum ethanol fermentation efficiency. We will not get into the figures today. Let's talk about the concept, and we will give you lot of tables or the sheets where you can follow the values and you can also adopt that in your plants. Next slide, please. We will talk about ethanol fermentation, OPEX, and the KPIs. Go. So the global dynamics in KPIs on different feedstock. Next. 3 clicks. Just one. So we normally consider 3 KPIs when we work with our partners or whenever the yeast supplier or a yeast expert is working with someone, they are looking for 3 KPIs in the fermentation. एक हो गया आपका recovery, which is the yield, which is the gold. Number 2 is production. Number 3 is the ethanol concentration in your final wash. ये जितना हमारे पास ज्यादा होगा उतना ज्यादा हम लोग प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी मैक्सिमाइज कर पाएंगे. As simple as that. And for that, what has happened during this 2 years time, we have seen there is no available FCI rice. We have adopted maize. And what is the fundamental difference we have seen? That in maize, the starch content is the lowest when we compare with DFG as well as rice. Am I right? Yes. We can generalize it. So what has happened? If you do not have the raw material or the starch in the raw material, then it is imperative that you will lose the productivity. जो अभी हो रहा है, आपके पास अगर मशीनरीज है कि मैं ज्यादा डीएस तक जा सकता हूं, you can go, otherwise you cannot. You will lose your productivity every day. And exactly that is happening. If you look here, for FCI surplus rice, it was 460, now 420 with broken rice. And for maize, it is 380. What is that? This is the recovery. I have taken little bit conservative way. If you have more starch in your corn, you will get more recovery. At the same time, when we look into the production, 110, 100 and 90 respectively with the FCI rice, broken rice and maize. And if you look into the final alcohol, I have just back calculated, it is 14%, 13% and 11%. Having said that, yeast can go up to higher ethanol concentration if you can provide it more sugar. Next. Come back to the OPEX. If we look into the OPEX, आज के दिन में अल्कोहल प्रोड्यूसर्स का क्या खर्चा है, उसमें से सबसे ज्यादा जो खर्चा है, that is the feedstock, which is more than 50%, 70%. Dr. Jain is saying 70%. तो मेरा ग्राफ में और कुछ लिखने का जगह ही नहीं रहा. So with that kind of percentage of feedstock, if we consider yeast, I'm just talking as a technologist from the East, not from any company. As a East, we are expansion, we are, one more click. हम लोगों का खर्चा होता है less than 1%. अगर 1000 रुपया भी केजी हुआ ईस्ट का, तो भी वो less than 1% ही आएगा. Right? So many business tycoons, so many calculators, but it is less than 1%. So now if we look into the 2 biggest chunk, which is feedstock or energy, हमारे हिसाब से as a fermentation expert, we should focus on feedstock or energy. इसको कितना अच्छे से हम लोग utilize कर सकते हैं, because feedstock will be translated into recovery and the energy can be translated through higher ethanol concentration. So to the forum, to the technical summit participants, this is my sincere encouragement that when we will work in fermentation, we should focus how to improve our KPIs like recovery as well as higher ethanol concentration. Next. Small AV for you guys. After a good food, it will give you an energy. Thank you for your patience. And in this, we have seen there are 3 KPIs. I am little bit repeating that because that is one of my favorite subjects. And out of that, the most favorite one is the recovery. I think that is yours as well. आप लोगों को भी recovery सबसे ज़्यादा चाहिए, right? But recovery के लिए, at least my experience is saying, जब मैं कोई भी plant में जाता हूँ, मुझे मौका मिला है काफ़ी सारा plant visit करने का, I straight away go to the weighing machine. And let me tell you, very frankly, at least 60% cases, the weighing machine for the floor is bypassed. If it is getting bypassed, ladies and gentlemen, how you will calculate the input starch? Am I right to say that? There is a pin drop silence after this statement. देखिए, हम लोगों को वेइंग मशीन चलाना चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए? अगर नहीं चलाए तो हम लोगों को तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी समझेगा ही नहीं. मैं जाके रोता रहूंगा, नहीं भाई ज्यादा अल्कोहल दे रहा हूं, आप बोलोगे नहीं दे रहे हो. टैंक में क्या जा रहा है हम लोगों को पता ही नहीं चलेगा. फिर वी नीड द फ्लोर. एक आगे बिठाइए, एक पीछे बिठाइए, कितना आपका लॉस हुआ उसको मालूम कीजिए. एंड आफ्टर दैट यू हाइड्रोलाइज दैट, यू विल गेट द शुगर, यू विल गेट द अल्कोहल. नहीं, आई नो ऑल अबाउट स्पेसिफिक ग्रेविटी. और ग्रेविटी से हम लोग पूरा कंट्रोल कर लेंगे. दैट इज द स्टेटमेंट फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द प्लांट मैनेजर आई हैव सीन. ग्रेविटी से मैं पूरा के पूरा देख लेता हूं. दैट इज नॉट द केस साइंटिफिकली इफ यू लुक इनटू. कभी ना कभी आपका एंजाइम स्लिप हो जाएगा, कभी ना कभी आपका स्टार्च ज्यादा चला जाएगा. एंड ये होते होते एंड ऑफ द फर्मेंटेशन, आज का फर्मेंटर का साइज है 1800 मीटर क्यूब. 3 करोड़ का ग्रेन है उसमें. हाउ यू कैन बी सो लाइट? जस्ट पुट अ वेइंग मशीन, डू द कैलिब्रेशन every day, if required 2 times in a day. That will give you the perfect material balance and the recovery. How to perform optimal ethanol fermentation? We have split it into 7 steps to create more value from the same steel. Means your same infrastructure. How you can do that? Number 1, selecting right yeast strain for VHG fermentation. We all know very high gravity fermentation is the way today to make profit. We have strain, we have other colleagues also already presented about their technologies. So we have technology to process VHG. Right grain particle size, very important. Otherwise, you will have lot of RST. You have to work on the yeast optimization, its propagation. And another concept, maybe you are knowing, but sometimes people are not following, that is rehydration. Rehydration is very, very important today to make your yeast operation more consistently. More standard deviation in your process, more you will incur loss in the end of the year. So try to reduce the standard deviation in your process. One of the technologies what we can tell you as an expert from the East, install a rehydration process in your process before propagation. In addition to that, most important, which is the open secret of fermentation industry, do your CIP. If necessary, एक दिन plant का production बंद रखिए, but don't compromise with your CIP. I have seen 10 plants looking into their PLC. कितना टेम्परेचर में आपका PLC होता है? खाता में लिखा गया है 80 डिग्री सेल्सियस. कितना घंटे का? भाई 2 घंटा तो रखते ही है हम लोग, उसको छोड़ के तो करते ही नहीं. बट PLC will not tell the wrong thing. जब मैंने PLC में झांका, देखा लास्ट 7 डेज का डेटा, हर एक का टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस. तो CIP का टेम्परेचर कभी 58 में हुआ है, कभी 68 में हुआ है, कभी 78 में भी हुआ है. पर रिटेंशन टाइम 5 मिनट लगा के ही छोड़ दिया है, 10 मिनट. That is not a CIP. So be focused on your CIP to ensure the success in your fermentation, targeting high gravity, of course. Next. Selection of microorganisms. Here we are talking about yeast. Next. Key features of yeast for grain ethanol. You can have a note on that what kind of key feature, at least I have listed down here, which should give you more than 15% alcohol tolerability. So high alcohol tolerance or production capacity in the high DS, which is VHG compatible yeast. Number 2, rapid fermentation kinetics. यहाँ पे मैं एक बात बोलना चाहूंगा. There are strains, बुड़बुड़ बहुत होता है, ठीक है, मतलब रिएक्शन बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है. जो प्लांट पीपल है, मैं एकदम ग्रास रूट लोगों के साथ काम करता हूँ, जो लोग मतलब शिफ्ट इंचार्ज है, तो वहां पे जाके मैं टैंक में जब झांक के देखता हूं, फोमिंग बहुत होता है, मतलब रिएक्शन इज वेरी स्पीड, बट एंड ऑफ द डे रिएक्शन खत्म भी हो गया, बट यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द इक्विवेलेंट अमाउंट ऑफ रिकवरी, which is something dangerous. So it will give a wrong perception कि रिएक्शन तो मेरा भाई बहुत जबरदस्त है, तेज है, अभी भी है, मरते दम तक रिएक्शन चल रहा है, बट रिकवरी क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? It may not producing ethanol and you do not have anything to understand कि भाई शुगर कहाँ पे जा रहा है, because you can see शुगर तो पूरा खाना हो गया, it is end, RS is 0.2%, 0.1%, RST भी कम हो गया है, अल्कोहल उतना है नहीं. Where is the byproduct where is the byproduct measurement? Today we are having the lack of byproduct measurement. I will come back to that point later. Maintaining high cell viability during fermentation, high temperature, stability around 40 degrees Celsius. Stability, not the optimum temperature to work. बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, 40 degrees Celsius is not for optimum temperature for yeast to work. It is the stability. Yes. Fermentation process is Hakuna Matata. Anybody knows Hakuna Matata? Abhi pata hai? There is a very, maybe from the back, Hakuna Matata. Please. No problem. Yes. Have a big applause for him from, you are from Starling. Thank you very much. So there was a fantastic song on this from Lion King movie. This phrase became very, very popular. Hakuna Matata means no problem. If you go to the fermentation house, ask the production unit head. Hakuna Matata. Kuch problem hi nahi hai. But we are not producing or not giving you the recovery. So that's something, click one. Fermentation process is not Hakuna Matata. You have to have a good product. You have to understand how to use that product optimally. So product or process, we say comprehensive coupled product and process. CP square. ये दोनों में marriage होना बहुत important. It's very important. Then we can expect good performance. Come back to the basics. How to store the yeast. Yeast need to be stored in a dry place, in a ठंडा जगह पे. ऐसा नहीं कि बर्फ के गोले के अंदर रखना है. Just AC room, clean room, उसमें रखने से ही चलेगा. मैं बहुत बार देखा हूँ, ईस्ट का बॉक्स ऐसे ही पड़ा है सनलाइट में, बारिश भी गिर गया उसके ऊपर. चलो कल तो यूज करेंगे. Please avoid, ask your team to avoid this kind of attitude. If you have broken or leakage sachet, don't use it. There is a tendency कि मैं ईस्ट बचा लूंगा 5 kg. ईस्ट 5 kg बचा के कुछ भी नहीं होगा. Believe me, less than 1% is your operating cost incurred by yeast. आज तक ईस्ट बचा के कोई तो इथेनॉल प्लांट नहीं डाल पाया, for sure. So इथेनॉल प्लांट डालने के लिए हम लोगों को पूरा के बैग यूज करना होगा. You can use one bag less, but don't do 10 kg का पैक है, मैं 20 kg की जगह पे 25 kg यूज करूंगा और बाद बाकी जो 5 kg है वो कल यूज करूंगा. Don't do that. उससे क्या होगा, उस लीकेज से कंटामिनेशन बढ़ेगा. ईस्ट के साथ एयर में जो बैक्टीरिया है वो भी जाएगा आपका फर्मेंटर में. We can see lot of people diggaj in microbiology, they can, align with me, and it will deteriorate your performance. Next, rehydration, very interesting and useful concept, and at the same time, very, very cost effective. What is rehydration mechanism? Very quickly, हम लोग ईस्ट को ड्राई करते हैं, ड्राई करके उसको बॉक्स में भर के भेज देते हैं. उससे इसका जो सेल वाल है वो पूरा ड्राई हो जाता है. तो उसको अगर मैं पहले ही पानी में फेंक देता हूं जिसमें शुगर है, तो उसका जो सेल वाल है दैट में ब्रोकन, यू मे लूज द वायबिलिटी. दैट इज द रीजन इसको हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, इसको हम लोग थोड़ा पानी में घोल ले रहे हैं, थोड़ा टेम्परेचर बढ़ा रहे हैं. यू आर डूइंग इट वेरी गुड. आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ पीपल इन दिस हाउस आर डूइंग इट एंड दे गेट द बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस. तो उसको हम लोग पानी में डालते हैं, पानी का टेम्परेचर 35-40 डिग्री करते हैं, फिर उसको हल्के से मिक्स कर देते हैं. आधे घंटे का प्रोसेस है और एक ड्राम का इन्वेस्टमेंट है जो एसएस से बनाया हुआ है. एंड दैट कैन ब्रिंग द कंसिस्टेंसी, दैट कैन ब्रिंग योर एसडी डाउन. नेक्स्ट. So this is the photograph. We have installed this kind of system in the plant. Real picture. Next. We have to be fast. And one more click. So here you can see what is the standard, at least as per my analysis, and how you can follow this. One video should on. Right. So you can see this kind of operation will happen in your plant just before propagation. You are just taking your yeast inside the water, mixing it. हवा लगा दीजिए उसमें, थोड़ा स्टीम डाल दीजिए, टेम्परेट कर लीजिए और आधा घंटा मिक्स करके उसको ट्रांसफर कर दीजिए बाय ग्रेविटी. नेक्स्ट. ओके, पार्टिकल साइज, ग्रेन, पार्टिकल साइज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द ग्रेन पोस्ट मिलिंग. इसमें मैं ज्यादा बात नहीं करूंगा, बट ईस्ट को अगर शुगर नहीं मिला ठीक ठाक, तो ईस्ट भाई, yeast, ladies and gentlemen, cannot ferment ethanol. So for that, back integration is important. We have enzyme people, and if they can broken down the starch efficiently, yeast can also efficiently convert those sugar into ethanol. Next. And one more thing, if you have more fines, it will increase your, if the big size are more, then what will happen? It will increase your, very good. No need of expert. Mold infection in the maize. किसी को हुआ है? Mold infection in the corn. Anybody has faced this problem? Always. And they do not have any problem, it seems. Nobody is answering. So we are having mycotoxin issue. When the grains are damaged, you can see the grains are with black moldy growth on it, and it will produce aflatoxin. Is one of the examples which is very, very common when Aspergillus flavus is contaminating your corn. What we suggest to manage this, at least in my opinion, if I put the science correctly, the spores are coming from the field, or the grain is coming with the spore from the field. After that, when it is coming in the contact with water and temperature like 30-40, this is the high time when it is getting sporulated and produce new fungus or mold, which will spoil the whole fermentation. But you can do, if you still have the jet cooker, maybe it is maybe little bit contradicting to the enzyme technology today. But if you have the jet cooker, use that jet cooker with the ammoniacal slurry and pass through the jet cooker. It will help you in reduce the aflatoxin in the DDGS. But please careful, if you use more and more ammonia, then your DDGS color could be affected. In addition to that, there are research going on. You can dry the process, you can dry that corn up to 12% moisture content. It will help you to reduce mycotoxin production. And also, if you can keep that in a colder place by means of air, it will also help you. But today, believe me, there is no silver bullet. What we all looking for, कि वो पानी में मैं घोल दिया और mycotoxin उधर से चला गया. There is no such magic bullet in the world, at least as per my knowledge. Next. Yes, आज मुझे production बढ़ाना है. This is a ready list against the starch content of the grain. What would be your DS for the targeted alcohol? So you can take a photo and refer it. Next. Use of water in grain fermentation. My favorite subject. The very basic and managing recycle in the fermentation. I think Mr. Singh was having a question on the TS. Maybe we can have a touch on that. So what we are mixing in the fermenter, don't click. Thin slope, process condensate, process lees, washing or peat water and processed water. सब लोग ये सब कुछ यूज करते हैं प्लांट में, and we have to do it, right? We have to compliance with zero liquid discharge. What we should do, because thin slope is a classical source for microbial contamination, because उसमें बहुत सॉलिड ज्यादा रहता है, शुगर रहता है, वो सबको पता है, मुझे बोलने का जरूरत नहीं है. बट उसको ज्यादा मैं कब करूंगा? आप जैसे सर बोल रहे थे, we could go up to 100% recycle if your TS quality complying with the fermentation grade water. So we have seen that with 10% recycle fermentation बैठ गया है. We have seen with 100% recycle fantastic result in UP. I'm not saying, we can share the reference also. And we did a water survey in that particular plant. Let me tell you, in the Kanpur region, the water, groundwater, pH was 8.5. 8.5 is the groundwater pH. Anyway, so to use the thin slope properly, you have to have a good process. Ceramic filter is a new technology. Pal karke company hai. They are now giving. You can have a look. I just come across this technology recently. So with this, you can polish your TS just like your process condensate. Next. CPU should be very, very good functional. I have seen in one of the plants, which is very close to my heart, is running his fermentation with VA of 2000. 2000 ppm VA, and they are unable to control it because the CPU is not functioning optimally today. So CPU is that important. We have to bring the CPU in process along with UV is very essential today. Install UV as well. You should have the mixed bed, SBA or digestion system. Otherwise, VA cannot be controlled. There is no Sai Baba who will touch his leg and your VA will be out. We have to go by science. Next, process is relatively cleaner. We have seen very good result using lees. Sometimes if it is contaminated with A4, then please don't use it. Fusel oil. Avoid washing or peat water. This is dangerous. Process water, of course. Next. Yes, so thin slope quality, I have given a characteristics. If you are having a thin slope quality of this much, at least I have not seen much effect on the fermentation efficiency if your other streams are compliant with the liquid. So better process control is better thin slope. Better thin slope equals to more recycling of scope equals to less syrup. Next. CPU, condensate polishing unit, equals to better condensate and less effluent. Next. Better process equals to improved key performance indicators. Next. Wow, fusel oil agar बढ़ गया. We have seen it last year in one of our clients' tank that every time fermentation was getting stuck around 0.3, 0.4% RS. Everything was normal. Team was there, 3-4 people for months, but we were unable to understand what is happening. But we could see that FO, or in terms of isoamyl alcohol, it was high. Then we charge them, work with your plant supplier, rectify whatever it needed. I am not the expert, and reduce the FO contamination in your lease. And it worked. And they became our, today no marketing. So they are working still with us. Next, temperature. We are hot. Next, we'll go faster. We are a hot country. If you see 2023, the temperature was like that, more than 44. How your fermentation, how the yeast will work? आपके पास है क्या? Temperature कम करने के लिए आज आपके पास है क्या? You have a cooling tower and you have couple of pHs. उसमें हो जाएगा? नहीं होगा. But we can try. We can try. How? We have to maintain the pH. खोल के धोना पड़ेगा. 2 बार क्लिक करो. The same way. And India ethanol industry now should think about chiller when they are designing the plant, or retrofit the chiller when they are trying to match the ambition of government of India. I need 5 more minutes. Next. Super. Thank you, sir, for the suggestion. Yeast propagation. Jaldi se. So we can avoid that. 5 minutes. Dr. Jain. Propagation, very important. Next, we will go to the practical ones. Please install a rotameter. जहां पे भी जाता हूं बोलता है रोटामीटर टूट गया है. रोटामीटर है ही नहीं. एकदम, it's simple. Please install this kind of Eureka rotameter with a digital display. It will help us to give you better performance. पानी भरा आज तक सब बंद हो गए. वो वाला मत कि ये खरीदे ये वाला खरीद दीजिए. और थोड़ा ये करो. एक बार नीचे जाओ और एक बार. And always try to keep this holes clean. ये होल अगर ऐसा सीधा रहता है उसमें डिपोजिशन बहुत होता है, कंटामिनेशन होता है, पता ही नहीं चलता है किसी को. Next. So this is something you can take a photo, quick photo, and you can refer it later. At setup क्या होना चाहिए, at transfer क्या होना चाहिए. Next. Okay, one more click. हाँ. So this is the propagation slide. हम लोगों को ये important है कि हम लोग कब ट्रांसफर करें. Not necessarily you wait for lot of cell number. Healthy cells are important. ग्रोथ जहां पे सबसे ज्यादा होगा 8 घंटा बाद अगर 250 मिलता है, बर्डिंग सबसे अच्छा है, तो हम लोग उसको ट्रांसफर करेंगे. 100 कौरव मुझे नहीं चाहिए, 5 पांडव से काम हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट. You can see the beautiful yellow color epoxy. This epoxy floor. You have understood that's a slurry from your corn, and it will contaminate your filter, and your whole process will be contaminated. You can have this kind of monitoring sheet, and you can follow quickly. Okay, fermentation quickly. Have a deep dive into to move the needle again. Click. So you can take that. This is regarding the nitrogen source. You can take a photo. Perfect. थोड़ा पहले जाइए, थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग बात कर लेते हैं. This is the CCP for the fermentation. इस टाइप का डिस्प्ले कीजिए प्लीज, as people can follow the temperature from the floor. उसको बार बार फोन ना करना पड़े कि भाई टेम्परेचर कितना है. Next. This is my favorite. We should have a digital weighing machine. Guys, please help me to have this to give you the recovery. Next. There should be a proper mixing and recycle and agitation when you are having the mass transfer process. Daily fermentation monitoring sheet and daily production sheet as well. These are all different with recovery and production. Microscope is very essential. Next. Use it regularly. बहुत जगह पे भाई ईस्ट का काउंट कितना है? 200 क्या? 200 million cells per ml. माइक्रोस्कोप लेके आओ, माइक्रोस्कोप खड़ा, माइक्रोस्कोप है ही नहीं लैब में, दोस्तों बोल दिया. It should not be the case. Use the microscope throughout the process. It will give you the full confidence what is the health of your cells till the end of your process. Then only you can understand that fermentation is the right way. Next. So see the contamination in this slide. One of our customers. Done. Done. So please do the CCP. Next one. CCP का ये मेंटेन कर सकते हैं आप. Next one. Okay, process data is very important. So data के ऊपर काम कीजिए. Next. अच्छा एक next. One quiz for everyone. Can you guess ये 9.5 trillion और 10.5 trillion USD क्या है? Approximately half of the world's largest GDP in 24-25. Anyone guess? किसका वैल्यू है ये? सर बोलिए. कोई गेस कीजिए. इथेनॉल प्लांट, इथेनॉल इंडस्ट्री का वैल्यू तो नहीं होगा इतना. हाँ, डेटा देखते किसका वैल्यू है. ग्लोबल एनुअल कॉस्ट ऑफ साइबर क्राइम फॉर डेटा इज दैट वैल्यूएबल. सो गाइस, नेक्स्ट क्लिक. Indian ethanol industry to keep sharp focus on daily process data recording to maximize performance, to maximize profitability. Data चाहिए ही चाहिए. Next, quickly 2-3 troubleshooting. उसके बाद yes, okay, again data mining is important. One more. Yes, so mining the data and data. Play with the data. Data can talk. Next. Liquid sampling point, very interesting. It has been done in Gulshan. Fen is also out. Just 1 minute. Samples for testing.
We
for
will
more
not get a
insights.
tea break. We have a tea break after this.
Just हो गया. This is something very important. Maybe we can discuss it offline. क्यों HPLC चाहिए आज? Next. Hypothesis. Done. So you will enjoy the result if you do all follow these things. Next, we have a very small, cozy team. Yes, please don't call us if your column is not working. I cannot help you. Distillers to call for this problem, these people. ठीक है? Next. One slide about my company. Roti milta yaar. What is my company? Live. Lesaffre. Very good. Thank you so much. Everybody knows. Next, the team. Chris, Dr. Furkan, Chitrika, and myself. Team Live India at your disposal. Please call us. Thank you very much. Yes.
Well, yes, of course. I must say thank you so much, Mr. Mukherjee, for a very dynamic, a very inspiring, a very passionate, a very enthusiastic and over, a very entertaining session. You have highlighted some very key important questions and some advice, which I'm sure we're all going to take into consideration. A huge round of applause for a fantastic panel. Can I request the entire team to please come forward for a group photograph? And for the Q&A, please join us for a quick tea break for 15 minutes. You can have all your questions. You can have a discussion while having your tea. Thank you for being an absolutely phenomenal audience. We will see you in 15 minutes after the tea break. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.